It's the first Sunday. It's Communion Sunday. Give me a moment to read a passage found in the 22nd chapter of the Gospel of Luke. And I'm going to read a few words because there's some color in this chapter that I want to pick up on today.
Yes, sir.
And I'm reading from the New International Version, beginning at verse 14. I'm going to read down to about 34. Can I take a few minutes to do that? When the hour came, Jesus and his apostles reclined at the table.
Yes.
And he said to them, I have eagerly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer.
Yes, sir.
For I tell you, I will not eat it again until it finds fulfillment in the kingdom of God.
All right.
After taking the cup, he gave thanks and said, take this and divide it among you. For I tell you, I will not drink again of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God comes. Yes. And he took bread, gave thanks and broke it, and gave it to them, saying, this is my body given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. In the same way, after the supper, he took the cup, saying, this cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you. But the hand of him who is going to betray me is with mine on the table.
Yes, yes,
The
yes.
Son of Man will go as it has been decreed, but woe to that man who betrays him.
Yes, sir.
They began to question among themselves which of them it might be who would do this. Also a dispute arose among them as to which of them was considered to be greatest.
Yes.
Jesus said to them, the kings of the Gentiles lord it over them, and those who exercise authority over them call themselves benefactors. But you are not to be like that. Instead, the greatest among you should be like the youngest, and the one who rules like the one who serves. For whoever is greater, for who is greater, the one who is at the table or the one who serves? Is it not the one who is at the table? But I am among you as one who serves. You are those who have stood by me in my trial. And I confer on you a kingdom, just as my Father conferred one on me. So that you may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom and sit on thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to sift you as wheat.
Yes.
But I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail. And when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. But he replied, Lord, I'm ready to go with you to prison and to death. Jesus answered, I tell you, Peter, before the rooster crows today, you will deny me 3 times. You will deny 3 times that you know.
All right.
Here ends the reading of this long passage of Scripture.
Yes, sir.
Well, a whole lot is going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I want to use this preaching moment to talk about being at Jesus' table.
All right, all right. All right.
Being at Jesus'
Yes, sir.
table.
Well,
Everything
yes, sir.
I just read
Well,
happened while they were at the table.
yes, sir.
While they were at Jesus' table. That was a big night.
All right, well.
That was a big night. And a whole lot of transactions were going on.
Yes, sir.
Truth be told, it was their final night.
All right, well.
They weren't aware of it at the time, but Jesus knew
Yes, yes.
that this would be the last time that they would sit at table with him.
All right. All right, all right. Yes.
So there was a lot on the Lord's mind.
Yes, sir.
And some unfinished business
Yes, yes.
that needed to be addressed. And Jesus arranged and organized to be able to do it while they were at the table.
Yes, sir.
You see, tables are for more than holding things
Yes, sir. All
and
right.
serving food. Isn't that right?
Yes, yes.
Tables are places where important people are pulled together
Well,
for important business.
yes, sir. I see.
Tables.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tables. That's why corporations have boardrooms. And in the boardroom, they have
Yes, sir.
tables. And when business gets ready to be done, assets described, and decisions have to be made, the board members come around, you got it, around the table, so that they can handle the business that is at hand. When government gets ready to do things, or the president gets ready to make a move in the nation, he assembles his cabinet, and they sit where? And at the table, things have to be decided and assignments have to be made. When banks get ready to do big business and decide who's going to get what money, they sit where? They sit at the table. When churches get ready to do business, pastors and deacons and trustees, they usually gather somewhere, and they don't just stand up and lean against the wall. They sit where? At the table, in order for business to be handled like it needs to be handled. All the business is not comfortable business, but it has to be handled. And so while you're at the table, you might as well. Now, you may have some snacks on the side, but snacks are not the reason why you're there. The reason you're there is to handle the business that's at the table. And if it's not ready to be on the table, somebody will take that item of business off the table and say it's not time for that just yet. But whatever's on the table is going to be handled. There are marvelous miracles that happen for us at Jesus' table. Marvelous, incredible miracles that happen for us at Jesus' table. Interestingly, though the table is holy because he is holy, the ones around the table with him are not quite they're not quite holy yet. They're still, that's what I'm trying to say. They're works in progress. They're on their way. But you can tell by the conversation at the table that they're not yet. He invited them to the table, even called them apostles. But it becomes clear that they are far from perfected holiness. Been with us 3 years. But just because
Well,
you've been with him.
yes, sir. All right.
May I preach on? Just because you've been with him
Yes.
doesn't mean that you are fully there
Yes.
yet. Listen to all the people issues
Go ahead.
that come up
Go ahead.
when they're at Jesus' table.
Yeah. Yes,
Not only do they lack spiritual maturity, as you can tell by what they're talking about, they don't represent the best example of communion unity.
Yes, sir. All right.
Am I right about it?
Yes.
You would think that everybody at Jesus' table would be on one accord.
Yes, sir.
But when you listen to how Luke tells the story,
Yes.
it's clear that Jesus wasn't the only one who had some agenda. Others had some agenda on the table as well. But the table does what tables do.
All right.
And the table becomes Jesus's laboratory.
Come on, right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Where he grabs their dingy devices.
All right.
You know what I'm talking about. Just because they were with him didn't mean that they were together. Everybody that's with him is not on one accord. He grabs their dingy divisiveness, even around his table, and he miraculously creates a holy communion out of this motley crew.
Yes, sir.
Because on the other side of this night,
Yes.
something happened that demonstrated that something obviously had changed since they sat with him
Yes, yes.
at the table.
Yes, sir.
And I maintain, Cornerstone,
Well,
that Jesus is still working around the table.
yes, sir. Well,
Here we are, centuries later, millennia from that original. But that's just Jesus' style. He has a habit and a way of bringing forth
yeah.
and calling them. Now he might show up at your table, but he'll call you
Yes, sir. All right.
to his table. And he does miraculous things when he gets people at the table.
All right.
You see, communion is not for better people.
Yeah.
Communion is for making people better. I remember when you would probably remember as well, when we were learning about communion back in the day.
Yes, sir. Yes.
There were certain rules about communion.
Well,
You know, that some folk could and some folk couldn't.
that's right. Yes, sir.
Some folk would and some folk wouldn't. And Paul has a mind that intimidates us and don't play with this. Because you might be doing something
Yes, sir.
that's going to bring damnation to your soul.
Yes, sir. All
If
right.
you don't honor right. And so there's this kind of stigma assigned to it where you know, you have to have your black suit on
Yes, sir. Yep.
and have your hands clean and don't have no hidden junk when you're dealing with it. Matter of fact, you might even need to wear gloves.
Yes, yes. Yes, sir.
You understand where I'm going?
Yes.
All of these, but Jesus is genius at taking all of these table controversies, crushing our smallness, yes he does, and launching us into kingdom greatness.
Yes, sir. All right.
He's a master at using storm
Yes.
in order to change us.
Yes, sir.
And there were plenty of storms going on when they sat that night at Jesus' table. It's marvelous when you think about it.
Yes, yes.
What Jesus can do.
Yes, sir. Well,
At
yeah.
Give me just a few more minutes. I pretty much have said what I'm going to say.
All right.
But give me just a few minutes, if you will, to show how Jesus took the turbulence of that night
Yes.
and made it what we now call Good Friday.
Yes, well.
It was anything but good in terms of what he had to face.
Yes, sir. All right.
And what he had to wrap up with these guys.
Yes.
And then what they had to endure for the next few days.
Yes, sir.
But Jesus took that and had done so much with it that we now call it Good Friday. Let me tell you what he did. First of all, Jesus invited all of them
Yes.
to his table.
Yes, sir.
Now underline all,
Oh.
because he knew everyone.
Yes, sir. All right. Yes. Yeah, he knew.
He knew.
Yeah.
He knew everyone. But he invited all of them
Yes.
to his table. All of them. I have eagerly desired to eat this with you.
Yes, sir.
He didn't just casually invite them.
Yes.
He drew them.
All right.
All of them.
Yeah.
None omitted. Not even Judas was omitted. Not even Peter was omitted. Everybody was invited.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to say something
Yes, sir.
about communion and the Lord's table. Yeah, he invited eagerly
Yes.
everybody to come to the table. Yeah, and he still is inviting.
All right. Yeah.
The good folk, the bad folk, the folk we know,
Oh, we don't.
the folk we don't know. He's still trying to get everybody. And then John says, when nobody else volunteered for the dirty duty,
All right. Well.
Jesus washed their feet.
Yes, sir. Yes.
When nobody else would volunteer to do
Nobody.
the dirty duty, he took them to servant school.
Yes. Yes.
He said, now I'm the master,
Well.
and y'all are the servants. Is
Yes.
that right? Now, if I'm the master,
Yep. Yeah.
the leadership can do for each other at the table.
Yes, sir.
And then Jesus told them the truth about themselves
Okay.
at the table.
Yes, sir. All right.
He didn't hold back nothing
Well.
at the table. As soon as he put the cup out there, he said, now one whose hand is on the table with me
Yes.
is going to betray me.
Yes, sir.
Now they weren't, they were not, and they were not upset with him.
All right.
They did not accuse him of
Well.
anything. All they did was discuss which one was it.
Yes. Yes. All right.
Which means that they were already well aware of the possibility that somebody in the group was a traitor.
Yes, sir. That's right.
And the one that didn't betray him denied it.
All right. Yes. Yes. Make it fly. Yes, sir.
So that's two down.
Well.
Watch this. And then everybody that didn't betray him or did not deny him deserted him.
Yes, sir. Good.
Everybody ran
Everybody.
and left him
Yes.
alone. He knew that when he invited them to the table. So he told the truth about everybody and put it on the table. And still had them. He didn't run away from the table.
Yes.
He knew that.
Yeah.
Just like he knows you.
Amen. Well, yes, sir.
And still, you get the same invitation.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Well,
Everybody else got to the table. He fed them his body and his blood.
all right.
That was the main course. I don't know. Nobody ever told me what was on the menu that night
Yes.
when they had the Lord's Supper.
Yes, sir.
But I do know this, that bread and wine were there, symbols of his sacrifice, that he was willing to lay down his life. And he imparted that to them so that they would be a part of the salvation that would come because of what he would endure on our behalf. He tied them in early. And then John says, I'm flip-flopping, you see. Say, John, they wove this story together, all this testimony. John says he upgraded him.
Yeah.
I don't know what they did for promotion, but he invested 3 years in their lives.
Yes, sir.
And even their work, even though they weren't what they should be, he knew what they were going to be. And he upgraded them and said, I no longer call you servants, but I call you friends.
Yeah.
I call you friends. I call you friends. He instructed them to love each other just like he had loved them.
Yeah.
He promised that they would survive the coming storm. He promised that it was going to get worse before it got better. But you're going to survive the storm. It's going to hurt.
Yes, yes, sir.
But you'll be better.
Well,
And in the end, we'll all be together again.
all right.
All of this happened. All of this happened. At
Yes.
at the Lord's table.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All of this happened at the Lord's table.
Yeah.
And so I'm convinced
Yes, sir.
that we need tables like this
Yes, yes.
everywhere.
Yeah.
What a difference it might be.
Yes, well,
Maybe the Lord's table ought not just be in the church house on the first Sunday.
all right.
Yes, sir. Maybe we need a place where Jesus can be the head of the table
Yes, sir. All right.
in our home.
Yes, sir. Well,
If we still gather at the table.
all right.
Maybe we don't even gather at the table much anymore.
Well,
Maybe we need them in our homes where he can look around the table and
yeah.
bless our families and help us deal with some of the up and down of what it means to live together and try to be a child of God.
Yes, sir. All right.
Don't you think that might help a little bit? Maybe that might help if we had the Lord's table in between some of these national and international negotiations.
Yes, sir. All right.
Where war is breaking out on the other side of the world and everybody's trying to figure out how to negotiate what to do. Maybe if the Lord was somewhere around the head of the table, maybe some of this Russia, Ukraine stuff, maybe some of this United States French stuff, or maybe if we could have maybe the Lord's table somewhere in between the Republicans and the Democrats in government. Maybe somebody who could pull together and knowing everybody's business, but pull us towards some kind of common good for our nation and allow benefits to happen in a way that honors God and blesses people. Maybe the Lord's table could symbolically be at work in some of these places. Then we could have a kingdom
Yes, sir.
that smells like God, that feels like God is in the business, looks like things are moving moving for the better. Dismiss some of our personal agendas and do what's good for God so that God can be good to us. Beloved, we need tables. We need tables of radical hospitality.
Yes, sir. All right.
Not just us and them, but us or them, but us and them.
Yes.
And maybe we need some tables of sacrificial love.
Yes, sir. All right.
You know, where you're willing to give up for the good of somebody else.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to just get your piece
Yes, sir.
of what you want.
Yeah. Well.
Maybe we need tables where we get spiritual nurture. Like a table like this in the house of the Lord.
Oh, yeah.
So that when we come, it's not just the first Sunday activity, but something deeper is going on in our hearts and our minds until we leave better than when we can. Maybe we need tables where once we've been there, we discover somehow by the movement of God's Spirit the miracle of Pentecostal empowerment. Where even in his absence, they were all in one. And it was so powerful that it overflowed out of the table into the streets. Everybody got impacted by what God was doing because the house was in order. And the people were empowered. When Jesus works his table, the world changed.
Yes, sir. All right.
When Jesus works his table, the world changes. Well,
Yes.
you know by now that I'm not Brodie Johnson.
All right. Yes, sir.
Not all I got to say. I think I said something. The most important, if there's one word out of anything else I've said this day,
Yes.
I think the most important word to me is what Jesus said starting out.
Yeah.
I have eagerly desired
Yes.
to have you at my table.
Yes, sir. All right.
You couldn't have wanted him before he wanted you. Jesus looks at our unfinished selves.
Yes, yes, yes.
We ain't there yet.
All right, man. Yeah.
But he said, I don't just want you, I eagerly desire to have you at my table. And whoever that you is,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I know.
Well.
I know you feel like you don't belong.
Yeah.
I know you feel like you're not worthy. I know you feel like there's too much history, there's too much brokenness, there's too much unrighteousness. I don't deserve it. No, you don't deserve it, but he desires to have you at his table. And so come to his table. Bring your hurt. Bring your brokenness. Bring your tears. Bring your, I don't know how I'm going to handle it. But if you bring it to his table, and if you allow him to be the head of the table, I declare, I promise you a miracle can happen in your life today, right now. A miracle can happen in your life. All you got to do is accept his invitation to his table. And I promise you, I don't even know you, but I promise you, he knows you. He When somebody says thank you, you say you're welcome. If somebody tells you thank you, you say what? But it's quite the opposite at Jesus' table. When it comes to the table of Jesus, he says, you're welcome. And then you say, he says, you're welcome. From the front to the back, from the outside to the inside, you're welcome. And what you ought to say back to the Lord is what? And don't just say thank you. Once you say thank you, accept Jesus' invitation and join the rest of us at Jesus'